Alright, yes, welcome back to another review. Here we have the newest pad from Tenta-X, and it is their first speed pad. It is their Jinsoku speed pad. Okay, so let's just talk about the basics of the pad. It comes in two sizes. You can get the 490 by 420 standard size, or you can get the square size, which I have here, which is all around bigger, and they're both the same 3.5 thickness. So before I really get into the details about this pad, it was sent out to me for review, but that's not going to change my opinions on this pad at all, you know that. So how did the pad arrive? It came flat packaged, completely fine, like all other Tenta-X pads have come. They come in the box with their logo on it, and the pad is nice and secure and they've never been damaged at all arriving to me. The pad itself has low profile stitching just below the surface, and it doesn't impact me at all when I'm playing. Even if I go over it, don't feel it. The stitching itself is high quality, it doesn't have any fraying or any issues at all. You can see here the base of the pad is using their Apex Grip Tech soft base, as with most of their other pads. It's very similar to Pour-On, it's basically a Pour-On base. It is effective, like this base does a good job. You can see here I'm pushing it, the pad isn't moving much. Like, you can get something out of it, but if that's really bothering you, simply just put water under the base and that will stop happening. So you probably want to hear about the surface. You know, that's probably in my opinion the most important part of the pad. The surface itself is like a speed pad. It has the usual qualities, and as soon as I saw this pad and as soon as I like touched it, I knew what kind of surface it would be. If you've ever owned a speed pad, it is that really tight surface that you would get. Like, you can hear the swipes across the pad, how quick it is. And the surface itself is smooth, but it's like most speed pads, when you go over it, you can feel that like slight texture on your fingers. But the pad itself is very smooth. And what this helps to do, this surface type, is just give you as much speed as it can. So when you're flicking or even when you're tracking, right, you can be as smooth as you want and there's not going to be any sort of tugging or anything that's holding you back or preventing you from going, really. So when I find this is really good is when I'm playing like a static scenario. If I'm doing like wide flicks, isolated flicking, if I really want to flick to a target, this is the surface I would use, right? Because there's nothing stopping me from going at my full speed here. And it's not as if like microing or stopping is really hard. I still feel like I can stop on this pad. And what helps that is the soft base, right? Because you can fast flick and then you can see you can really slow it down if you need to. So in game, this pad is very much usable in like everything really. You can use this in TAC FPS. If you are a player that has good micro skills and overall just good static aiming, you're not gonna feel any issues with this at all. Going into something like Valorant or CS, right? Because if you've built up the aiming skills already, microing is not going to be hard on a faster surface, right? But where this pad like really shines is in its tracking ability, right? Because of the speed surface, its smoothness, if you're doing reactive movements or even like control tracking, right? Where you need to be as smooth as you can and react smoothly to the bot moving and changing directions or accelerating or decelerating. You don't have it like a control pad would do with a slower surface and more stopping power. This you can just go and you're free to do what you want with the pad and the surface. So even like target switching, evasive switching is very good because you can flick as fast as you want to the targets. That's not going to be an issue at all, flicking. And you can even flick and stop and not be like aggressive stopping to the point where it's hard to go again and it's hard to accelerate. You can stop and then you can just go into that controlled like reactive tracking movement very easily. So if I was to compare it to some other pads, here it is, the Infinity Mice Ruin. Now the Ruin is smoother, I would say, and it is a lot softer. The Ruin is a really soft pad, but they both have very similar qualities to them, right? So they both feel fast and smooth. I would actually say the Tenta-X Jinsoku is actually faster than the Ruin. When I first played with the Tenta-X pad, it actually was a bit slower, but after some use and after playing with it for a few hours, it actually became a lot faster from my experience. I think it needed that time to build in and it got faster after it. So I'd say it was definitely faster than the Infinity Mesh Ruin. Now I do have the Infinity Mesh Speed V2, but it's not currently on me. I don't have it to show you guys, but The Speed V2 mid is still faster than the Tenta-X pad. The Speed V2 is also more textured, and because of the mid bass, it's very much harder, and I think that gives it more speed. Now, if we go to something like that Lamzu Energon, which is also the same sort of very smooth and fast pad, I would say the Lamzu Energon is smoother, but it's a lot slower. The Tenta-X pad is very faster than the Energon. This is just the base Energon, by the way, it's not the Pro. But yeah, this is definitely a lot slower than the Tenta-X pad. So now if we go to the Glass Infused pad by King Jade Esports, this is definitely going to be faster. The pad also feels firmer, but remember this is like glass infused, right? So I am expecting this to just be overall faster than the Tenta-X cloth pad. So how does this mouse pad cope with different sleeves? Here I'm using the Ghost Glide's second skin sleeve. And this sleeve is actually one of my favourite options for speed pads, simply because it performs a lot better on them. Other sleeves, they just tug so much. You can get some joy with this sleeve, but I still wouldn't recommend using the sleeve on speed pads. Most of the time, it could ruin a run if you get a tugging motion on it, right? But this is fine so far. I don't really have much issues, but there's still a chance that this could like really hurt a run. Now, if you use something like the Focus Aim Lab sleeve, this is going to be basically unusable. You can probably hear as well just the friction this is causing. This is not a nice feeling at all, and you're not going to get any nice sort of smooth tracking with this sleeve on at all with this pad. So the color of this pad is also very nice. This purple looks great. I really like it. I would like to see Tenta-X like branch out into maybe other colors as well for their pads. And I would really like to see this pad on a mid bass. I feel like this surface would work so well on a mid bass, and you can really reach like the full potential of this pad. Overall, this pad is actually really good. I don't have anything negative to really like push out. This is a really solid option for like speed enjoyers. So I hope you enjoyed this short review, and I will see you in the next one.